Hi guys, have you experienced this before? When you feel so okay, but then you talk to someone and then you feel so anxious after. You felt so angry or or discouraged or hopeless, right? So today we'll be talking about projection. So to establish this ano po, no, this idea, we'll have to understand that we have agency or we are individuals. So of course we affect each other, but still we are separate beings, right? So this is you, this is your thoughts and feelings, and this is the other person. This is his or her thoughts and feelings, right? We affect each other's thoughts and feelings, but at the same time, you have a choice, you have an agency, and you have the power to receive whatever other people is giving you, right? You have the power to say no, to say yes to a thought or a feeling, right? You are powerful. So this is one of the purpose of this video na to empower you, right? And for you to discern when someone is projecting something to you, right? So um to further illustrate this, I guess I'll have to share the story of me and someone. So there's one time that I was assisting someone in their organization, and she just asked me one thing. Okay. She just asked me one thing. She just asked me if I deposited the check. She just said, Dessa, did you deposit the check? In this tone, right? And when she said that, I know this person, she's constantly anxious. She's constantly what do they call that? Catastrophic in thinking like everything will go wrong and that the world will end if she failed to do something. She's constantly on the edge. She's always anxious. So when she said that, that's just a few words, made me feel like the world is ending. It made me feel very, very anxious as well, very, very guilty. I felt like there's darkness that was released with those few words. Right. And I answered back and said, yeah, I did deposit the check. She told me to deposit the check, right? And then the conversation ended. But even after the conversation ended, I still feel condemned. I still feel irresponsible. I still feel guilty, shamed. I still feel that heaviness in my heart and in my mind. It's as if there's a gloomy atmosphere that was released, right? So now that I'm remembering that, I realize I should have renounced that atmosphere. Sometimes people can project um spiritual atmospheres to us. And again, we have agency. We have the capacity to say no or to rebuke or not to accept any form of uncomfortable feelings from other people, right? So psychologically, what I did is I just separated our that feeling. So that feeling of guilt and condemnation, that is not mine because I did my job. So what I did is just I told myself that this feeling is not mine. I will not receive it. That condemnation, that feeling of guilt, that feeling of catastrophe happening, that is hers, right? So I am not receiving this. So I think I was at peace after an hour or 30 minutes. That's how heavy that um memory was. That's how heavy those words are. So, we have to be very careful when we talk to people. And we want to also be aware of the atmosphere that we're releasing. How does people feel around you? And how do you feel around certain people? Right? We have to be ready because people are projecting their internal world to us, consciously or unconsciously, usually unconsciously. So what is projection? It is the process by which one attributes own individual positives, it could also be positive, or negative characteristics, affects, and impulses to another person or group. This is often a defense mechanism in which unpleasant and acceptable impulses, stressor, ideas, affects, or responsibilities are attributed to another. Um, so in that case, no, she has been anxious that day and feel very disappointed with someone already. So that disappointment, that anxiety, was projected onto me. I think she was disappointed with someone else because they failed to do something. So that um unpleasant and unacceptable affect, um if we're not aware of it, if we're not owning it and we're not processing it on our own, we can project it to others. And and usually yeah, it's a so I'm saying this video I think is for the people who's receiving the projection. You have to be aware if that feeling that you feel, that heaviness that you feel, is yours or not. So you can separate it from yourself, right? Especially if you grew up from a family that doesn't have any boundaries, emotional boundaries. So usually you absorb everybody's feelings. So in this case, you should have in this case, we want to identify if the heaviness that I feel is mine, or is does it belong to another person, right? In that way, you don't have to suffer from from their issues in life, right? So projection is when someone cannot accept their insecurity, so they project it to people. They cannot accept their guilt, so they project it to people. Sometimes it could also be positive feelings like um you like someone, right? And you think that that person likes you as well. It often happens with narcissistic people. We'll discuss that probably in another video. Um, s- so sometimes you project your feelings towards another and you expect that person to feel the same way, right? Mm, So it's very important for you to recognize what do you feel? Do you feel is your is the feeling that you feel now your own feelings or you're feeling another person's feelings? Because we are supposed to carry our own cross. So in this example, no, they also say that it could be a projection like um I hate them. Do they hate me? So for example, you feel disappointed with a person or you feel like that person looks down on you, right? That person disrespects you. Or the positive ones, like what I said earlier, no, that person likes you. When the truth of the matter is, it is you that are disappointed with these people. It is you that likes them. It is you that hates them. You think they hate you. Truth is, you are the one who hated this person. You are projecting your unacceptable subconscious feelings to another person. Right? So it's very important for us to be really self-aware so we can attend to situation, we can attend to feelings and thoughts. It's also in the Bible, na po. If Romans 2:1 says, therefore you have no excuse or defense or justification, O man. Whoever you are who judges and condemns another, this is on negative projections. For posing as a judge and passing sentence on another, you condemn yourself because you who judge are habitually practicing the very same thing that you consume or denounce. So if you want to know if the parts of you that are um, you still haven't forgiven, you still haven't accepted, then look at the people that you are denouncing. Look at the people that you're condemning. Um, there's possibility these people, the characteristics of these people are also inside you, and you haven't forgiven it yet, and you haven't accepted it yet. You haven't settled with it yet. In the Philippines, we have this saying, that when you point at another, four fingers, one finger is pointed on the person, but four fingers is pointed on you. So it's also in the Bible. Whatever you condemn, you're also doing it. So stop it. So you have to not stop it. Reflect on it. Right. On another perspective, this the cells is something I discussed in an online course. I'll be putting it somewhere here if you're interested. So this is the lens. We're using the lens of Colin Tipping on seeing the self. Um, Yeah, he wrote the book Radical Self-Forgiveness. So usually if you're married to a narcissist, if you are in a close relationship with someone who has no empathy, someone um who thinks they're so amazing, right? Like they're superior, that their opinion is above everyone else, right? Um, then there's a possibility that they are projecting, if you're close to them, they are projecting their insecurities to you, projecting their pain into you, their guilt, right? If you're married to these people, oh gosh, seek help, right? Because a narcissist doesn't really have the capacity to be in a relationship, but they are efficient in work and in other stuff that doesn't require empathy, right? So when you see a narcissist, overt overt narcissist, they think that they are the ideal self. So anytime that you correct an overt, how about overt? Yes, the overt narcissist, you are challenging the ideal self because they are really convinced that they don't make mistakes. They're really convinced that they are amazing and that they don't make mistakes. Their mind has no capacity to handle guilt or shame. So they will, so usually a narcissist has a disowned or hated self, right? This is not in textbook. This is based on all the experiences I had and the textbooks that I read in my graduate schools. So a narcissist has this own self. So whenever you correct these people, they will project that hatred to you, right? So if you are in a relationship with someone with narcissistic traits, someone with no empathy, someone that cannot be corrected, um, you have to consult a professional because it will really affect you. You will start to doubt yourself. You will start to doubt your truth. You'll always be gaslighted and manipulated because they are gaslighting and manipulating themselves, thinking that they are amazing, right? This is not to condemn these people because a person with narcissistic trait will really act like the devil. But it took a lot of pain for this person to become a nurse. These people are highly traumatized and something in them is really malfunctioning, especially in relationships. So you have to protect yourself, right? I can discuss this further if you're interested and if you can relate. You can book a free schedule with me and the link that I'll be putting. So thank you so much for listening at this point. I hope you learned something. Thank you and have a great day.